evening, and welcome to Thinking Thursday. This is our last Thinking Thursday of 2020. I look forward to 2020 wonderful starting. We've had quite a 2020, but we are going to move forward and make great things happen. So I look forward to sharing with you tonight. Tonight, we are going to talk about Kwanzaa. There are still people I know who not necessarily don't celebrate, they just don't know what Kwanzaa is and are somewhat a little confused about Kwanzaa. So we're going to take this opportunity tonight to talk about Kwanzaa, to have them be able to share and find out what Kwanzaa is. So that's what we'll be doing tonight. You'll have a chance, as always, to drop questions in the chat to find out, to ask some things. As always, we are going to start with some breathing because that is so important. So, for those of you who it may be your first time, let me tell you a little about deep breathing. When you're taking in deep breaths, as we're going to do in a little bit, you'll find it brings more oxygen into your body. It allows you to breathe, it allows you to think, it allows you to feel better. It allows things to just happen. It's good for you, it's cleansing, it's relaxing. So I'm going to count into four slowly. And as I'm counting in, you will breathe in. As I breathe out your four count and breathe in your four count. So let's practice. I want you to breathe in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. One more in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. Breathe away some of the cares and concern of today, and let's get ready to talk about Kwanzaa. As you're watching on Facebook right now, if you look right below the video, you'll see the word share. So please hit share. Share this with those on your own platform, your own friends, so that more of us can learn about Kwanzaa and more of us can experience what we have tonight. Tonight, we have some special guests with us, and I'm going to ask them to have a chance to show their face and share their name. The first one I see up is PK McCary. Can you just introduce yourself, PK?
Now you know that EBKPK. Everybody knows PK, or they
Ah,
should.
okay.
Um, I'm PK McCary. I am your sister, your oldest sister's co-conspirator in trying to make this a better world. We're both storytellers, and we love to write poetry and plays and to bring the world to a place where we understand the value of all of us. So,
All right.
and
Thank
Jack
you.
Gates,
All right. And
crimson and gold.
these ladies tonight will be sharing some thoughts with us. Tiffany Scales, introduce yourself. Did we lose Tiffany? I'll come back to Tiffany. Sister Mama Sonia, my older sister, would you introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Miss B's older and wiser sister. I just love working in the fields with her. And PK, we are partners in crime. And Tiffany is just one of our babies we bringing up. So it's a pleasure and an honor to be here with my younger sister, who I am older and wiser than. Amen.
All righty. Tiffany, have you made it back in? I know she had something, she was just getting in. Well, when you get back in, Tiffany, just let us know. As I said, tonight's topic is it's Kwanzaa. So tonight I wanted to share because I still find people who are confused about what Kwanzaa is, don't know if they should celebrate it, just what's going on. And you know, Thinking Thursday is all about our mental well-being. How does this fit with our mental well-being? As I say, mental health is just health, mental health is everything. As we discover the seven principles tonight and discuss them, we're going to find that these are principles that we can live for life. And as we manage these principles, we'll find out that they are things that we need to do. And when we practice these principles, they can enhance our mental health. So tonight we will be talking about the seven principles of Kwanzaa. First, let me tell you just what is Kwanzaa. Well, Kwanzaa is a Swahili word, and it means first, and first fruits is what Kwanzaa is all about. It was a celebration of the harvest. Now, Kwanzaa was first initiated and originated by Dr. Milan Karenga. And it started in the 60s as a way for us as a people to celebrate our heritage. It was inspired by the struggles of the 60s, having us to be able to celebrate something that's our own. Some people think it's anti-Christmas. It's an extension of Christmas. No, it is a separate entity. Kwanzaa is its own separate entity. It is a celebration of African American people, of our struggle, our heritage. And there's seven principles that we're going to talk about, and they're principles that we can live by at any time of the year. It's not just take 7 days out of the year to say, oh, these are good things. No, we end it ends on New Year's Day. And these are principles that we can live out through the year. So I'm going to just ask my guest if they could tell me something about Kwanzaa that's important to them. What does it mean to you to celebrate Kwanzaa? Sonia?
I think it's important because it brings families together. Each year, we're going to miss that this year, but the first night of Kwanzaa, when we would all go to Shape Center, people would come together who we have not seen since the previous Kwanzaa. And we got a chance to catch up with one another. We got a chance to share the principles. So for me, Kwanzaa is the sharing and caring and loving up on each other as families. And when I say family, I'm not talking about blood. I'm talking about family in the bigger sense, who we all are.
Awesome. PK, what do you have to say about Kwanzaa? What does it mean to you?
I think more than anything, just like all of the holiday seasons, I think some people are celebrating Hanukkah right now and or the end of Hanukkah. Christmas, for those of us as Christian of Christian faith, celebrate Christmas. But Kwanzaa is about community. And today, somebody brought over canned goods and just dried vegetables, put it on my porch, and we came outside, distancing ourselves, but at the same time, sharing our bounty with one another. And I just wanted to invoke that Kwanzaa is an end of year celebration preparing us for the next year.
Awesome. Thank you. Tiffany, are you back? I think we lost Tiffany, and we're just going to hope that she's going to make it back on.
She's there.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, I didn't
I
see.
beg your
Okay,
pardon.
there you are. Tiffany,
Yes,
introduce
hello.
yourself because you missed the introduction and tell us
I
your thoughts
did.
about
I did.
Kwanzaa.
So I'm Tiffany Scales. My pseudonym is the Wordmatician, and I was invited by Sister Bronya because she heard my talent a couple days ago. The concept of Kwanzaa for me, better yet for those who are listening that we shared the videos with tonight, who might not know. When you think about, just the African diaspora and the fact that there is a term for everything we're already doing because there's nothing new under the sun. It is just the name, as PK mentioned, for what we do when we do serve our community. And so, during the giving season, for the multitude, this is a great time to celebrate that. But for those of us who are of service throughout the year, it's not necessarily something we don't think of or pay homage to throughout our days.
That is such a good way to look at it. It is. It's all about service. As we go through the principles, we're going to find out how important service is to um, celebrating Kwanzaa. And someone, Sister Fabu, put in, she's often asked, is it a religious holiday? It is not. It is a cultural celebration. And thank you for pointing that out, because we want to say that. And then some people feel like, oh, then it's anti-Christmas, it's anti-Christian, it's anti-this. It's none of that. It is its own entity. It is a cultural celebration. The three ladies that I have invited tonight are all wonderful wordsmiths. And throughout the night, we're going to spread it out and have each of them share in their own time. In their, when I call them, they're ready. So they don't know what order I'm going to call them in. I don't either. We're going to flow. And we'll have a chance to just talk to them and let them share their talent. But I wanted to go through and share the principles as well tonight. And there are 7 principles. For those of you who have never celebrated, Kwanzaa begins December 26th and ends January 1st. Normally, you will have big community celebrations in Houston. Shape Center does celebrations around the city. I have a friend, Jackie Tatum, who does Kwanzaa for children at her church, and we do it. It's a one-day celebration, but we're there from 6 in the morning till about 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and she has roped us into it every year, and we willingly serve. We get there sleeping. You're energized as you're working with the kids, but by the end of the day, you're worn out. But it's an awesome celebration that we have done every year. Thanks to COVID, we won't be there this year. But Kwanzaa, it's about community. It's about celebrating. And then when you look at how it originally began, it wasn't even just the big ceremonies. People celebrated Kwanzaa in their homes. And that's something we did. One of the things I missed from moving when I left Houston was the big Kwanzaa celebrations that we had, and just the good memories of. I can remember one night I had so many people in my house, it was definitely a fire hazard. We couldn't get through, and I counted the heads and didn't know that many people could fit in there. But we were all there to celebrate the community of Kwanzaa. There are, as I said, there are 7 principles, and I wanted to go with them. And the first one is umoja. And umoja means unity. And when we think about it, unity, coming together, it is really a foundational principle that we as a people will come together, working in unity, working in harmony, not being separate. And there are people who say, oh, Black people can't work together. They're this, they're that. We wouldn't be where we are if we wouldn't have worked together. Kwanzaa, as I said, grew out of the 60s in a time where there was a struggle and a turmoil. And that was people working together. If you look at Black Lives Matter, it's us working together. You look at so many things, there is unity, but we have to celebrate the unity that we have and not buy into the hype that we see in the media. Ladies, do any of you have any comments on Umoja?
Well, I think what you said is what I've always said. People say we can't work together. Believe me, we would not be here. We would not be alive. We would not still be thriving in this country if we did not work together. So I want people to take that out of their lexicon. And yes, unity, we are one.
I absolutely, totally agree with you both. But unity is been a work in progress, especially these last 4 years. How do we overcome the turmoil that is part of the landscape of the American society right now? And the word is unity. And you may start with your best friend or your best friends, but reach out to others, because we only have one world and we got to all live in it together.
Ashe.
Awesome. Tiffany, any comments on? I'll save you for the next one because we got 7 principles to get through, and you all spoken word. Kuji Chagulia, self-determination. This principle refers to the defining, naming, creating, and speaking for oneself. If we look at how we let society define us as a people, we probably would be pretty bad off. And so often we do that. But Kujichagulia, that self-determination, it also builds on that I am because we are. When we learn to work and function collectively, and we're determined not just for myself, but for my people, that I am determined to make it, but I'm not making it just for me. It's I am because we are. We are together, and I'm determined for us to be together. I'm determined for us to make it. And we look at so many things when we think about our healthcare system and so many things that impact the African American community in a negative way. We're like, oh, wow. But as we practice unity and we're determined to work together and make things happen together, we're going to make it. Tiffany, any thoughts on Kujichagulia?
Are you familiar with the story about the stone soup?
Yes. Share
Mhm.
that briefly with our audience.
I was reminded of it this past week while volunteering for an event coming up. But it just touches so much on what this particular segment is. So Stone Soup, the story basically is, you know, I woke up this morning and I had nothing to eat and I could not feed my family. All I had was a stone, a pot, and some water. Went to my neighbor. They had one potato. That one potato could not feed their family, so they gave it to me. I cut the potato, put it in the pot, went to the next neighbor, and accumulated all of these vegetables and pieces that would, not feed a family in their home, but I could put it in my pot. And at the end of acquiring all of these items from, small dosages or donations, I was able to have an entire pot of stew that I could feed everybody with. And so, with the segment of unity, one person can only do so much, but together we can do so much more. And so it's really important to tie in with all of those cliche statements or, parables that we have from our own cultures and different backgrounds that help us understand how important it is to give, especially when you feel like you're in a position of not having, because the whole purpose is not to feel like it's you against the world or the world against you. And it certainly doesn't make you feel like you've been forsaken for those of, faith or backgrounds of Christianity where you know that, he would not do that. But when you take the perspective and look outward as opposed to how it affects only you, then you understand the power of uniting.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Um, it is so important. I love that. That Stone Soup is a really powerful story. It is a children's story with an adult message,
Exactly.
is the way I describe that. Um, I'm going to do one more principle and then we're going to have someone do a word. Ujima, collective work and responsibility, refers to uplifting our community. The collective work, we are responsible for our community. We're responsible to make things happen in our community. So it is that is where that collective work comes in, that we work together. It goes back to the unity, really. It's very related to unity, the idea of collective work and responsibility. It's to build, maintain, I'm sorry, I said Ujima, and it is I said it wrong, sorry about that. It's Ujima, is collective work and responsibility, and it means to maintain our community together. I am my brother's keeper. I am my sister's keeper. I am because we are, once again. Someone asked me, and I wanted to, I like to keep your comments. Someone asked, well, is it too late for me to celebrate? Remember, Kwanzaa doesn't begin until December 26th. Um, whether you have a Kanara, and we'll talk about the symbols near the end, whether you have any of the symbols, you can still celebrate by each day of Kwanzaa with your family, with your loved ones, even on Zoom. You can have a Zoom Kwanzaa celebration where you get with friends and family and you share the principles and you talk about what they mean to you. It's not too late to do that. So you can definitely do that. Let me see. Tiffany, are you there? I would like for you to be the first to share with us. As I said, I have some wonderful wordsmiths on tonight. So they each have an awesome talent, and they're going to come in their own way. So first we have Tiffany Scales.
All righty. One, 2, 3. Take a deep breath in. And in the space that you hold this, I wonder if you'll know this is just a moment of time that you can allow your mind to reflect on such abilities, of giving that privilege some gratitude, and the gifter of those breaths that you continue to take in, allowing yourself to relish in that gift, allowing yourself to count the blessings, allowing yourself to pay homage to all that have come to pass, just to allow you to release. And every time you slowly exhale, as you will let your body permeate through the process of knowing that no problem has ever been too big, no mountain too high to cross, allowing yourself to realize your fish should never be clenched too long, because you are supposed to be open to receive the gifts of love, of life, of purpose, and the blessings of knowing that it has always been worth it, because there's absolutely nothing you cannot do with the presence of the Most High God. And those who call other beings to know the ancestral processes will allow you to still pay homage and know that you are just in motion of things of poetic displays of affection, to know that sometimes it's just the detection of arts, and how we can pick apart the process of life to realize that this celebration in time, during this time of a pandemic where so many are stricken with the plague of fear, to think that their lives are too heavy and too burdened, this is a celebration of time. We allow ourselves to just quietly breathe and hold fast to the things that we have continuously dreamed, like knowing that tomorrow may come, and for those that it does, we can celebrate with you. Knowing that our time here on this earth is only for a moment, but the space between the beginning and end is just for us to know it was worth it. Continue to breathe deeply, intentionally, knowing that though you may not find yourself to be here as long as we would like, we know that your life has been so purposed to give us purpose, to know that we pay homage to sit before here with griots who have traveled across the world, internationally known for their words and their creativity. Sister Mama Sonia and PK, to share this mic with you means so much to me. And knowing and celebrating such things as Kwanzaa on this evening, as we will next week, we celebrate those who have always put themselves in positions to educate those who would not know otherwise. That selfless act of kindness, that bestowing entertainment, but also the education of those who are ignorant to the truth of knowing that this is something bigger than you or me. Thank you.
Woo. Woo.
Ashe, Ashe.
Ashe,
So much.
Ashe.
As I told you, I have some
Yeah,
wonderful
yeah.
wordsmiths on here tonight to, share with us.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome.
Thank you.
That's
Before
my
we
little
get-
girl.
Cooperative economics, Ujamaa, is our next principle. And that refers to uplifting our community economically, spending money with our people, to build and maintain our own shops, our own stores, to understand that as I help your business grow, I help my community, we're all uplifting each other. As a therapist, I'm a business owner. I'm a private practitioner. It is my business, and that is what I do. So I appreciate Black business, and I am one who goes out of my way to find out if there is if I need something, if there's a Black business I can support, because we need to support each other. Ladies, if any of you, can I get one person to comment on Ujamaa and supporting ourselves economically?
One of the beauties of Ujamaa, I think, is that we get to see the value in each other, our gifts, our talents, the things that we do, the things that we share, our resources. I mean, it's Stone Soup Plus, because it's not just one time. We do it over and over and over again. And the more we do it, the stronger we get. So it's like the story of the sticks. One stick, you can break it. Tie them together, you can't break that bundle. And that's what we should be to one another, part of the bundle.
And that bundle is so much stronger when it is together. It can be indestructible. And when that bundle is together, building on each other, that's where the strength lies. Awesome. Thank you for that. Looking at our next principle, and that is Nia, purpose. You know, everybody, we all have a purpose, and sometimes we get lost and can't figure it out. But one purpose we have is to be here for each other. And how does that look? You know, I have a 17-year-old who is a senior in high school, and him finding his purpose, it has not happened yet, but he's 17. And so these are questions we are talking about. What do you want to major in? I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know. I don't know. And if I hear I don't know again, I don't know what I'm going to do. But we're having those conversations and I'm working to maintain my composure. But when I think about just that purpose, at 17, you know, you really don't know. But what happens when you're 27, 37, 47, 57, and you've never found your purpose? You know what? Even if you haven't, it's never too late. Everyone has a purpose. What do I mean by purpose? Um, it is, what is your reason for being here on earth? It's not necessarily how you make money, how you make that dollar. It's about what are you giving back to others? Your purpose is not just for you. Your purpose is a way of giving, a way of sharing, a way of just being part of that unity, part of a community, collective work and responsibility. I am working together. I am sharing with others. My purpose is wrapped up in others, not just me. That is what my purpose is. Um, Tiffany, what do you what do you think about purpose? What comment can you make about purpose?
You know, honestly, it almost feels like life isn't worth living if you don't have one. And I can say that with experience because at 25, I was tired of waking up not having something of purpose to do. And so I prayed for my purpose. And the last 10 years, I've been working that out. And no, it's not always something that makes you money, but if it's something that brings relief to people, I think it's well worth the effort. And we just celebrated 10 years of serving over 50,000 families in 17 states and 7 countries. So if you ask, whether you throw stones, whether you put your hands in the air, whether you get on your knees and put your face in the ground, however you ask, whomever you ask, if you ask and believe, you'll receive the answer to that question. And then life becomes a lot easier to continue.
Thank you. Awesome.
That's shade.
So true. Tell us, you said you served all of these people across the world. What organization? And tell us about that.
Oh, toiletries for families. It's exactly what the name says. We provide toiletries to families, people affected by poverty and disaster, more so disaster stricken these last 5 years. And we provide up to 18 months of hygiene supplies to alleviate that stress and to restore dignity.
While you're saying that, is there a way if someone wanted to donate? I mean, that is so awesome. I don't want to miss it.
Thank you. So we
Can you?
actually just launched a campaign called Dignity on a Dime. Our first distribution was with our own Houston Police Department. We provided 150 hygiene packs that last about 4 weeks, maybe longer for certain families, with the Houston Police Department who fed those families. And the Dignity on a Dime campaign is the concept that in 10 years we've served 50,000. And the next year we could serve 50,000 more with your contribution to Dignity on a Dime. And the bags that we give to last just a month to get people off, of a hard space are $10, whereas $450 retail would last someone almost 2 to 3 years and help them alleviate those issues. We accept donations on PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Zelle. Our website is www.tffserves.org. It is a 501c3 organization.
And tell me that website. I'm going to type it into the chat so people can see it. And that was www.
TFF, so Toiletries for Families, TFF serves, SERVES.org.
So for those of you who are listening and may have listened too fast, I typed it in the website because that was so awesome. I didn't want to miss that opportunity because that is awesome. And when we think about what Kwanzaa is, it is about supporting. Here you have something you're doing, so we want to support you. And even just doing that, when those of you who are wondering, it's so difficult. No, that's what Kwanzaa is all about. And as I said, these are not principles for 7 days. These are principles for life.
Every day, yes.
And so Just, if someone has something that can help others and you're sharing it, you're doing your part, even just by
Mhm.
saying, hey, and share it. Somebody, if you have $5 to donate, if that's all you've got, that
Mhm.
$5, I
It's a
guarantee
lot.
you, can make a difference
Mhm.
because your five and somebody else's five and somebody else's. So I encourage you all on here tonight. I challenge you all to donate five, at least five. I'm not trying to limit you, but I want to make it so easy that if everybody who's listening now or in the future with this, donate. If you only
Mhm.
have a little, donate. Your
Okay.
little can mean a lot to somebody. So I encourage you to donate. Make that difference. Um, there's not a order. If something happens, I just felt like I really needed to share that. And, in the spirit of Kwanzaa, we're about what's going on and what do we need to do and sharing with others. The next principle is Kaumba, creativity, being creative. And, as a people, we are creative. And we sometimes limit the idea of being creative to just the arts. It is so much more than that. Creativity is when you can take that little bit, when you can take that stone and
Mhm.
turn it into a pot of soup. When you can
Mhm.
look at something in your community, look at a need, and find a way to meet that need that has never happened before. You create it, you make it happen. You turn you turn your water into wine. You do something that is like, wow, never thought we could do that, but you find a way. And there's so many things we can do. And I'm, being creative. The arts, though, and there are spoken word ladies I have here tonight are all a part of that part of creativity. But just starting creating something new. Have you ever gone in the kitchen and you looked in like, what is in here? What am I going to cook for dinner?
Mhm.
And you start mixing and matching and you come up with something that is like, whoa, that was really good. Didn't know where
Mhm.
you were going with it, but wow, that's creativity. When you find a new use for something, that's creativity. So there's so many things you can do with creativity. In that vein, Sister Mama Sonia, would I know you have a word for us tonight? Are you ready to share with us some creativity that you may have?
Yes, I am. And I first want to thank Tiffany through her organization. All this week, we've been giving toys for children who were in foster care and awaiting adoption. I want to thank Tiffany. I just mentioned that I needed 150 hand sanitizers. She said, when you want them. And I went to get it. And I want to thank PK McCary for doing some letters for Santa and holiday letters to the children. So that's all that part of creativity, just us coming together. I was challenged to do this poem. I did one right before COVID Christmas. Somebody said, can you do it? Twas the night before Kwanzaa. So here goes. Twas the night before Kwanzaa when all around the world anticipation was abuzz in the hearts of men, women, boys, and girls. The Kwanzaa symbols were taken out of the storage with care because the 7 day celebration would soon be here. There was so much to prepare that although they were at home, they weren't nestled or snug in their beds because visions of past Kwanzas danced in their heads. Mama was busily running around the house while Daddy refreshed his memory about Kwanzaa, reading a book in his chair. When on the TV, I heard such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the screen, I flew like a flash. On the TV was a news story about how during this time we could host a Zoom Kwanzaa bash. The newscasters quickly reported the new fallen snow. Then they began to lay out a new Kwanzaa plan that we all needed to know. On the screen did appear what the celebration would look like this year. Seeing those images on the screen put a smile on my face so quick. There were so many ideas from which we could pick. More rapid than eagles, this new way to celebrate came as they called out the principles by name. Unity Umoja, December 26th. Kuji Chagulia, Self-Determination, December 27th. Ujima, Collective Work and Responsibility, December 28th. Ujamaa, Corporate Economics, December 29th. Near Purpose, December 30th. Kaumba, Creativity, December 31st. Imani Faith, January 1. As leaves that before the hurricane would fly, the spirit of Kwanzaa quickly came by. From the community, the ideas of these celebrations flew. From the elders to the young, there were many, not few. New thoughts were in their sight, how to Zoom celebrate day and night. In my head, a new Kwanzaa kept my head spinning around and around. I began to groove to this new Zoom Kwanzaa sound. A virtual candle lighting was afoot. In my head, I wanted to stay these ideas to stay put. Storytellers then removed from their backs and opened up their Kwanzaa sacks. Their eyes were so bright and merry. To share this Kwanzaa story, they were ready. For the symbols of Kwanzaa were all around. Joy and anticipation could be found. Their faces radiated through their smiling teeth. It lit up like a red, black, and green wreath. Joyous sounds came from deep in their belly. It was like some of that good old homemade jelly. You see, the story of Kwanzaa was about to come out. Because, see, they knew what Kwanzaa was really all about. There was not a reindeer or even a little green elf. So I began to laugh and chuckle to myself. Thoughts of Kwanzaa, a Swahili word that means first and signifies the first fruits of the harvest. First celebrated in 1966, created by Dr. Malana Rankarenga, December 26th to January 1. Many people of African descent in America celebrate as Kwanzaa resonated in my head. On the table sits a mkeka, a mat holding the symbols. 7 candles are as the principles are shared. Muhindi, the corn representing our children. Kikombe cha umoja, the unity cup. Zawadi, the gifts homemade, not bought. Some awesome knowledge that we sought. It was an honor to celebrate the 7 days in this new Zoom thing way. They sprang to the occasion and joyfully got out of the face-to-face box and showed that even during a pandemic, a new Kwanzaa experience will rock. So each day during Kwanzaa, we will greet one another. Habari gani, what's the news? And share the principle of the day with each other. So tonight, we shout out in joyous anticipation. Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, as we look forward to 2020 wonderful with cheer. Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe.
Thank you. Thank you. And that was, I did change her at the last minute. Well, she just didn't read her text message. So thank you for coming through at the last minute and changing it because I really wanted, I knew she could do it. So it was, no problem. And thank you for sharing the symbols of Kwanzaa in that because we were going to do that. And I'm glad that you, have them there. It's great. I don't have to they're there. I don't have to worry about that. I can go over them before the time runs out. I want to hit our last principle, and that is Imani, which means faith. And when we think about that, when we think about faith, what this is to believe in our hearts, in our people, in our parents, in our teachers, in our leaders, in the righteousness and victory of our struggle. So Imani is looking at that faith. It is looking at the faith of the community and holding on to that type of faith. And it is so important that we have that faith to believe in. And when you think about all the principles, they work because we believe in each other. So that is the type of faith that it is talking about. As I look at the time, which tends to go quickly, I always think 45 minutes is a long time, but it's not. It goes rather quickly. I wanted to show you one symbol of Kwanzaa that's important, and that is the Kanara. Now, the Kanara is the candle holder for. And this particular Kanara, I want to share with you because it was made for me by a friend, Jackie Tatum. And she totally exemplifies creativity and really all the principles of Kwanzaa because she loves to share and do things for people, do things with people. So that is just who she is. And so she made this. I don't have the candles in it because I couldn't hold all that on the screen. But she carved in it, it says celebrating the harvest of first fruits, December 26th through January 1st. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And that was a quote from my mom. And on the other side, she has the principles and a quote from my dad. Why should a living man grumble? So I thought it was really beautiful. So in this Kanara, you put a black candle in the middle that's representing unity, red candles and green candles, and that each day you light a different candle based on the principles that we already read. And on my Kanara, if you forget, they're right on the front. That is what's so cool. But you start with the unity candle, and each day you use the unity candle to light the other candles. And in Sister Mama Sonia's poem, she talked about the symbols. You have the Kamanara, you have a mat, an mkeka, that sits on your Kwanzaa table. Um, I'm not going to go through all of the symbols, but I did want you to see the Kanara. What I want you to know is that Google really is your friend. And if you Google Kwanzaa, you're going to find one that says the official Kwanzaa site. And it's going to, that is the one I want you to look at. And each year there's a theme for Kwanzaa. And this year's theme is Kwanzaa and the well-being of the world. Living and uplifting the 7 principles. Now that we've gone through those principles, if you think about it, if you lived these principles on a daily basis, if we all did, how much better would the world be? Mm-hmm. If this is what we really lived out. If we work to be in unity. And I don't mean just in the African American community now, I mean in the world at large. Could we be in unity with everybody? Definitely we have to start with our own, but boy, how positive it would be if we lived these principles out in our lives, in our family. If just you and your family lived these principles out, how powerful would that be? Think about that. If your house your
and
neighbor,
Bronwyn, that Kanara, I know you said Jackie, but Bronwyn, I made that with her help. I was so proud of doing that for my sister, y'all.
Oh, okay. Thank you, thank you. And I still, you see, I have it.
Yes.
So yes, if your gift did not go unnoticed, unwanted, I do have it. It's awesome. Thank you. So when we look at that, when we look at the principles, that's something we need to live out all the time. You know, I have a call to action, and we still have PK. PK, I did not forget you at all. As we get ready to wind down. So every week we try to end with something to take with you. But before I do, Sister PK, I know you have a word for us, so share it with us now.
Well, one of the things that was interesting was that Sister Mama Sonia and I have both taken the Christmas tale of the night before Christmas and repurposed it. But I thought I would end with the fact that, you know, all of us cook, but I'm really a good cook. My family says so, my friends say so. I love to cook, and I just don't know much I'd like.
Very good.
Only because my daughter cooks better than I do now. But people are always talking about that one thing during the holidays that we do, and that's the sweet potato pie. So I thought I would share with us as we end tonight this message. My mother, grandmother, and aunts all made a great sweet potato pie, and every one of them had a unique recipe. Always moist, never dry. Of course, they all used fresh sweet potatoes. They each added nutmeg and cinnamon too. They only used pure vanilla extract, evaporated milk for sure. Each pie had 2 eggs, real butter, and a teaspoon of flour added to the mix to set it nice and firm. And nothing could ever compare to their pies, each so divine. But none of their pies tasted the same, each one with its own unique flavor. You had to have a little of each of their pies because each piece was a joy to savor. And now I realize more than ever what made their pies so good. It was because each pie was made with love, a gift that lasts forever. Love. So when I make a friend or family member a sweet potato pie, I'm giving them a taste of those memories. My family gets to touch those memories of our grandmothers, Miss Elaine, Miss Ethel, and Big Mama Liz. They are getting a piece of the love from my aunts Luella and Jean, both um, my aunt Jean still living, and Josephine. I get to share this with friends too, although I never realized it until now. I get to watch as my mother before me watched, those that she loved, sharing her gift of love, sweet potato pie, a symbol of my love. And that's peace out for us in the 7 principles of Kwanzaa inherent in a sweet potato pie.
Thank you.
Ashe, ashe.
That creativity, and that is what it is. And I see a comment in the comment section. Denise is saying that's my recipe from my mama, and I've shared it with everyone who asks. Because and knowing Denise, is her pies are made with love too. And that is a real key ingredient, that makes one a good cook. Are you cooking it with that love? I don't want you, if you're cooking angry, don't cook for me. I don't need it. If you're cooking from love, it might not even be the best recipe, but I'm going to taste the love in what you're doing. As we wind down the time, I do want to give you my call to action for this week. And that call to action is this: think about the principles of Kwanzaa that we shared and incorporate them into your life on a daily basis, not just for 7 days, but for life. They can enhance your life, your family, and your community. And I go back to check on someone who may be alone. During this Christmas holiday, there will be several people who are not going out, who may be home alone. Maybe you can take them a plate. If you're not going in, I'm not saying go in. Take them a plate, ring the doorbell, hang it on the door and say, hey, it's there. Or just call, reach out and virtually touch someone who may be alone. You feel it more during the holidays. If you're grieving and have those issues, they will impact you more during the holidays than they would any other time. Mask up and be safe. It is not time to get careless. Keep your mask, be safe. Um, Take care of yourself and your family during this holiday. It's important to do that. And to all of those who are on tonight, I thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. This is our last Thinking Thursday of 2020. I look forward to 2020. I've been saying it's not just going to be 2021, it's going to be 2020 wonderful. And that's what we're holding on to. We are going to have a wonderful 2021. Even if COVID's still here, even if we are masked up, it's going to be wonderful because we're going to practice these principles and make each other's lives better. We're going to work in unity. We're going to work in love. We're going to support each other. We are going to be creative to get through this, and we're going to hold on to our faith. I'm going to hold on to my faith in God to know that this is going to be 2020 wonderful. So as I close, I will end as I always do by saying, mental health is health, and everything is a part of our mental health. Enjoy your holidays, be safe, and I look forward to seeing you the first Thursday in January. If you have any topics you'd like to address and like for me to address during 2020 Wonderful, drop me a note, put it in the comment section, and I'll be glad to research it. So I'll see you and enjoy your holidays. Ladies, thank you. PK, Tiffany, and my big sister, Sonia, thank you so much for joining me on my last episode of Thinking Thursday for 2020. Have a good evening.